You're late.
All set to go.
Right.
Joe,
Right.
what about the money?
I'm here to play squash. Right, you ready?
Right.
Cool.
Rough.
Smooth.
That job's all laid on. You'll be here in Monday.
Right, then you'll have your money on Monday.
Look, I worked damned hard to set this up for you.
Good, otherwise you wouldn't get a penny.
Mr. Joseph Lampton.
What do you want?
You are Mr. Lampton.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Lampton.
What is this? Who the hell are you?
Muggle and Muggle.
Bloody hell.
Trouble, Joe?
Private and confidential, all right, Tom?
It's not a rip, is it?
No, it's an offer from Onassis to run his business empire for a flat £5 million a year.
No, seriously, Joe.
Why don't you mind your own bloody business?
When do I get my 500? That is my business.
I told you, when Bernie Stale gives us the job.
Well, you might not pay me then. I could hardly sue you, could I?
Why not? For failure to pay a bribe to a go-between, why not?
I wish you wouldn't use a word like that.
Bribe? Makes you uncomfortable, does it?
Gentlemen don't use it.
That's right.
Do you want to play some more?
Not this game.
Joe? Have a good workout? What's that?
Anybody come for me while I was out?
No? Oh, yes, funny little chap. Did he find you?
Little rump with watery eyes.
Yeah. Had a letter for you, said it was important, wouldn't wait till Monday.
And you told him what I was?
Yeah, well, he said it was urgent. I offered to take it in, but he said he had to give it to you personally.
I bet.
Well, what is it?
Look, next time some Burke comes sniffing round for me, do me a favour, will you? Tell him I've left home, will you?
Look here, Joe, he said it was important. I don't know what you're running away from.
Not running away from any bloody thing.
Then what's all the fuss about? Maggle and Maggle, solicitors. Petition. Keith Malcolm Scalloway. For divorce. Divorce?
Read the rest.
Various dates in the county of Surrey at the Grange, Bellevue, Chase, Moorwater. In other places unknown. Joseph Lambton, manager, son. Adultery, Audrey and Marnis. Correspondent. £5,000 damages. £5,000.
Nice present, eh?
Who is she?
How the hell should I know?
Well, is it true?
I've told you I never met the bloody woman. Audrey, it was some mistake.
Adultery by mistake, is it?
Whole bloody thing's a mistake. Can't you understand?
Only too well.
What does that mean?
Is she pretty?
For God's sake, Susan, I've never seen her.
It's got your name, your occupation, your address. Is that all a mistake?
I'm phoning the solicitor now.
When did you meet her?
I've told you, Susan, it's all a bloody mistake.
I know it's all a mistake. You never met the woman. Suppose they pulled your name out of a hat.
Oh, and I suppose I did it right here in the house, I suppose, eh?
That's what it says here.
Last bloody place I choose.
When I'm here. I'm not always here, am I, Joe?
Oh, shut up! I've never even met the husband. 5,000 quid, I'll see him in hell first.
Was she worth it?
Is any bloody woman? Oh, there you are, yes. I'd like the number, please, of a Mr. Hamish Kilburney. He's a solicitor. No number from his office. I think he lives in Chelsea. No, I don't know where in Chelsea. Wouldn't be asking, would I? Yes. Kilburney. Kilbirnie. I'll hold on.
Going to be in for lunch?
Where the hell do you think I'll be?
Thank you.
You are? You can't find... Well, there can't be that many Kilburnies living in London. Oh, bloody useless!
It's going to cost you plenty, you know.
I'll get it back from the bastards.
But first, you have to have it.
I can afford a lawyer.
A lawyer? You're joking. You'll be a QC, junior barrister, a solicitor, Uncle Tom Cobley and all.
Thanks for reassuring me.
The business can't help you out, you know that.
Our business, you mean?
Just in case you thought of borrowing, we can't afford it.
I know what's in the bank.
And I can't do anything for you.
Who the hell asked you?
Well, you may have to raise it somehow.
That's my problem, isn't it?
I wish you'd never got involved with this woman.
Teddy, I never lie when I don't have to. When I tell you I've never met the bloody woman, I mean it.
So, why should you be cited?
Give it a rest, will you?
You needn't worry. I'm not going to sit in moral judgment over you.
You bloody well better not, mate.
I remember you reading me the Riot Act once. Funny the way things turn out, isn't it?
Teddy, we've been friends for a long time now, and I'm asking you to cool it.
You can dish it out all right, but you can't take it, eh?
I can take it when I have to. From you, I don't have to. Take any more of those things, you'll bloody rattle.
I need a holiday.
You live for your holidays.
Some of us don't live for grafting like you.
Be grateful somebody does.
Ah, you deserve a holiday, too, for getting us the Bernadale deal.
Shows you what a 500 quid bribe can do in the right quarter.
Don't say a thing like bribe.
You sound like him.
Who?
Bloke who took the bribe.
I just happen to believe in certain standards.
You mean you're too gutless to risk 500 quid, but when the deal goes through, you're preening yourself. Nice standards.
You've too much on your plate. I won't argue with you.
All right. This job is worth 15,000 quid. I don't think you'll argue about that.
You're going to need that money to pay for your love life.
Just exactly what does that mean?
Oh, Joe, only lawyers win these cases.
Yes.
Mrs. Lambton is here, Mr. Lambton.
All right. She'll send her in.
Better make myself scarce, then.
You didn't tell me you were coming up to town today.
I wasn't planning to. Hello, Teddy.
Hello, nice to see you, Susan.
How's June?
Oh, well, thank you. I'm sorry about this, well, you know.
No, I don't know. What are you sorry about?
Thank you, Teddy.
Oh, come on, Teddy. What are you being sorry about?
Well, you know, this, divorce business.
Not to do with you, is it?
Oh.
Not very civil to him.
Is that what you came to tell me?
No, I've forgotten my checkbook.
How much do you want?
Well, 5 will do. I've got 3.
You won't do much shopping with that.
I didn't come up to do shopping.
Oh.
I came to see a solicitor.
I see.
That's all you got to say?
Well, what else is there to say?
I wanted some advice about us.
Well, why waste money on a solicitor? The house is in your name. I make you a monthly allowance. That will continue. What other bloody advice do you need? Cup of coffee?
No, thank you. I changed my mind on the way here.
About what?
There's going to be no solicitors. For you and me, not about this.
Now, don't tell me you actually believe me.
I mean, I thought it over.
Well, I don't want any bloody charity from you, not just because I'm in a mess.
Perhaps I should let you drown in it, you selfish...
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Perhaps one day you will say one kind word. Just one kind word to somebody who's nice to you.
I'm not nice, love, and I'm not kind either, so you might have a long wait.
If I'm still around. You're going to be in for dinner?
I haven't looked at Jennifer's diary, but the answer's yes.
Now, Mr. Lambton, let me be very frank. I can do nothing for you unless you tell me the whole truth. You needn't fear I'll be shocked. I'm not here to sit in judgment. But I must have all the facts.
Well, I couldn't care less if you're shocked, and I've not even met the woman.
Are you sure?
What am I telling you?
And you want me to enter a defense?
That's why I'm here.
Now, let's talk about pounds, shillings, and pence, Mr. Lambton. If the case is a defended one, it may well run to 5 days, with costs to the tune of 8,000 or 9,000. Damages another 5,000.
I'm not paying no costs and no damages either.
Let me finish, please, Mr. Lambton. If the case is undefended, it could be settled in a day, thus considerably decreasing your costs. And in addition, since another co-respondent is cited, we might well dispute the amount of damages. We would say that she wasn't worth £5,000, that the marriage was past repair already. I wouldn't make any promises, but you could escape damages entirely. You take my point, I trust.
Oh, aye. If I admit to something I haven't done, I'll save myself about 10,000 quid.
We have to be practical, Mr. Lambton.
Well, you'll have to get me out of it. I have not been to bed with the woman.
Is she attractive?
How the hell should I know?
Whatever you tell me, Mr. Lambton, will not go beyond these 4 walls, but you must tell me the truth. Now, even if you've only met her once...
I have not met her once. Now, how often do I have to tell you?
Then why should her husband cite you?
Why? That's what I keep asking myself. Why should the bastard cite a complete stranger? You know, I've a damn good mind to go and see Mr. Keith Scalloway and see what his bloody game is.
Mr. Lambton, put that thought right out of your mind. Now, sit down, please. Please. You want to go to jail? Because that's where you'll end up if you're known to have threatened, even, any person who is suing you. You must not think of meeting Mr. Scalloway or Mrs. Scalloway either.
Bloody unfair.
No, that is totally irrelevant, Mr. Lambton. We must deal with the law as it is.
All right, then. We defend the case.
You're not going to confess?
Confess? I'm not in bloody church.
Confess is the legal term we lawyers use for an admission of guilt.
Guilt?
Adultery. Admission of adultery, Mr. Lambton.
I wish you'd talk bloody English.
Mr. Lambton, I've always regarded you as a man of fundamental good sense. If I may permit myself an Irishism, can you afford to be ruined?
I'm not going to be ruined. On the contrary, I'm going to get damages from this swine Scalloway.
No. If you successfully defend yourself against this action, you'll be awarded costs and leave the court without a stain on your character, but that is all.
But as soon as the news comes out, there will be a stain on my character. And what about the effect on my marriage?
Now, the law takes no account of that, Mr. Lambton.
The law doesn't have to live with my wife.
Mr. Lambton, I've had a great deal of experience of divorce cases. And I've found that women are very understanding indeed.
My wife has got nothing to be understanding about.
does this lady do?
You better find out. I've yet to meet her.
Oh, really, Mr. Lambton, is this entirely beyond the range of possibility? I mean, are there no points at which your world and her world intersect? You might well be a refreshing change for her.
I bet I would be, but I haven't met her. What's the matter with you? Why don't you believe me?
I am not saying that you aren't telling me the truth, Mr. Lambton.
Now, you know me, and you know I'm not lying.
Oh, I know you, Mr. Lambton. You'll be surprised how well I know you. I just don't want you to have to pay out £14,000, that is all.
Are you going to take the case or not?
We'll seek counsel's advice. You've nothing to add to what you've said? We'll do our best, then.
You'd better, Mr. Kilburney. I'm the one who's going to pay. There you are. 500 quid.
I think I would have preferred cash.
Some 20s or 10s?
No matter. But cash.
You worried about it showing on the record?
Checks can be incriminating.
All right. Well, that's in my private account, not the firm's.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you, Joe. I really appreciate that.
Well, you did your part. We sign the deal next week. Having a drink, then?
That'd be nice. And this is only 3% of 15,000. Less if you get the bonus.
I get your point quite clearly. What are you having?
Lager, please.
2 lagers, please.
You know him?
We've met.
He was your competitor. Ah, he was up for the same contract. But my little bit of influence managed to sway things in your favour.
I didn't know he was a member here.
Oh, aye. They let in all sorts nowadays.
So I see.
Do you have to bring work home every night?
It isn't work.
What you doing? Writing to your mistress?
I could have done without that crack.
Can't get a tale of that.
Can't you? It's a rough inventory of all my worldly goods.
I've got some money, you know.
I know you have. Tied up nearly as thoroughly as the children's.
Sorry I said that about a mistress.
Don't tell me you actually believe me.
Oh, I think you're capable of it.
Well, there wouldn't be much point in us being married if I wasn't, would there? Do you believe me or not?
I might do.
Spoken like a loyal wife. You believe me when I say I haven't slept with a woman, right?
I don't know. Oh, God, Joe, I want to believe you.
Well, it makes a nice change because my bloody solicitor doesn't believe me. He suggests I do not contest the allegation, in which case it may only cost me about 3,000 quid, which I think I can raise somehow.
And if you do fight it?
If I win, I get my costs and my name cleared. If I lose, which the bastard appears to foresee with relish, it'd cost in the region of 14,000.
Yeah, it might cost you more than that.
You needn't spell it out for me.
I phoned Daddy.
Couldn't wait.
Well, he can't understand why this man should pick on you.
Well, nor can I. Apparently he's got some industrial design business. He's pretty well heeled. I've never met him, never heard of him. Why should he cite a stranger?
I just have to believe you.
Oh, a lot of good that'll do me in a court of law. My lord, I was framed. That, Mr. Lambton, is what they all say. Damages and costs to the plaintiff pay on your way out. Well, what's so bloody funny?
Well, it is. When I think of the numbers of times you haven't been caught, it's very funny. You haven't even done it.
Having carefully considered the matter, the board has decided that your firm's services will not, after all, be required. This decision is irrevocable, and it's particularly requested that you do not waste your time or ours by entering into any communication with us. Charming. Can't we sue them?
For what? We haven't signed a contract.
The day before yesterday, we're told the deal's ours. Everything's fixed, and now they pull the carpet out from under us.
Well, there's nothing to be done. It's their carpet.
I told you then, and I tell you now. It was wrong of you to get the job the way you did.
Go on, make me feel better.
Well, suppose they found out about the bribe.
Oh, don't be so bloody daft. Eberston's turned greedy, that's all, taking another bribe from Marlcliffe.
Well, you're to blame. You might have known that Marlcliffe wouldn't take this lying down.
Eberston must have more pull than I thought.
And he changed his mind pretty quickly.
Well, that's his speciality, isn't it?
Wished I could get my hands on that bastard Eberson.
500 quid from me, Marlcliffe's out. Another 500 from Marlcliffe, I'm out.
Long distance for you, Mr. Lambton. Mr. Brown calling from Bradford.
Hello, Abe.
Joe? How the hell did you get yourself into this mess?
I have never heard of the man.
Have you heard of woman? That's more to the point.
Never.
Are you fighting it?
Of course.
Can you afford it?
No.
Joe, you're not double-crossing RSU, are you?
Do you think I am?
Well, you wouldn't be so daft as to get yourself caught. That's why I believe you, lad.
My solicitor's briefing a QC, Ralph Charlton.
It's a picnic for lawyers.
So I'm finding out.
Anyway, how's business?
Great. We just lost the contract that was all sewn up.
Who with?
Bernydale's. 15,000 quid.
Cheer up, Joe. It never rains but it pours.
I'll try and pay the bills with that.
Ah, that's what I like to hear. The old Joe Lambton. What's the name of bloody husband, anyway?
Scalloway. Keith Scalloway.
Calloway. Right. Be good.
Yes, I think so.
Every possible detail, but I don't think you'll get a confession.
Remember, Mr. Lambton, that this is a sworn statement. You took an oath. What I read you a few moments ago is true in every particular, is it not? There is nothing you wish to add? Nothing?
Nothing.
Mr. Lambton, would you describe yourself as a man who enjoys the company of women?
If you mean do I like women, yes.
And women like you, I take it.
It's been known.
Have you ever been involved in a case like this before?
I've never been cited as a correspondent before.
Have you ever been fortunate to escape being cited as correspondent?
What's this got to do with the case?
Answer my question, please. Have you ever been lucky to escape being cited as correspondent?
Well, that was a long time ago. There was no question of divorce.
And you have no acquaintance with Mr. Keith Scalloway, business or otherwise?
I've told Mr. Kilburney that already.
You have not in any way incurred his animosity.
How could I? I've never met the man.
You see how it is, sir. Mr. Lambton is insistent on defending the case.
Mr. Lambton, I am not now acting in my own best interest, incredible though it may seem. A defended case may last easily 5 days. That is very expensive, Mr. Lambton. Have you told Mr. Lambton how expensive, Mr. Kilburney?
Oh, yes, indeed, sir. He is under no illusions on that score.
5 days, Mr. Lambton. Very agreeable for me, but possibly ruinous for you. Then there is the publicity. An undefended case has terminated almost before the journalists have sharpened their pencils. A defended case, in the course of which many unpleasant facts may be dredged up, is very different.
I'm beginning to wonder whose side you're on.
Quite natural, Mr. Lambton, quite natural. I assure you I have only your welfare in mind. Now, can I ask you one more question? Can you prove you have not slept with this lady?
I thought a man doesn't have to prove his innocence.
I am asking the questions, Mr. Lambton. Can you prove you have not committed adultery with her?
I haven't.
Ah, that is an assertion, Mr. Lambton, not an answer.
Precisely, Mr. Kilburney.
All right, then, no, I can't prove it.
It would have been surprising if you could have done. Do you still want to fight the case?
I do. I'm not sure about you.
Oh, I shall find it a very interesting case. I shall look forward to it.
But Mr. Charlton won't object if you change your mind, Mr. Lambton.
Mr. Kilburney, I must consider the client's wishes. It really will be the sort of case I enjoy.
Going somewhere special?
What?
Going somewhere special.
Oh, no, I have an appointment every Friday.
Oh, I thought you and Joe would be going to the Lawrences.
No?
Well, they're having a party tonight. Didn't you know?
No.
Oh, I thought everybody would be going.
Well, we're not.
I do hope I haven't put my foot in it.
Oh, no, we haven't seen very much lately.
Oh, really? Everything is all right, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, actually, of course, it's none of my business.
No, go on.
Well, actually, my dear, I had heard of course, you know what gossip is.
No, you tell me.
Well, it was some story about Joe and another woman, a divorce case.
You mean that business in the papers? It was all a mistake.
Well, I guess that.
Joe's never met the woman.
Really? But surely, I mean, how can they cite him as a correspondent if he has... Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Joe's solicitor's dealing with it.
Oh, my dear, how unpleasant for you. I said to Madge, I simply don't believe it, not Joe Lambton. I mean, they seem so happy.
Very nice of you.
Well, after all, Tom and I have known you both for ages. And it's at times like this that you find out who your real friends are, don't you?
Yes, you do.
I mean, after all, Madge is the last one to talk, isn't she? We all know about her evening classes at Guildford, don't we?
No, we don't, actually.
Oh, yes, Spanish guitar lessons, indeed. Of course, it's that young man.
Not very interested in Madge.
Oh. Well, actually, of course, you're so right. I mean, after all, it's none of our business, is it?
No, it isn't.
I do hope you didn't mind my asking, did you?
Oh, no, not at all. After all, it's at moments like this that you realise who your good friends are.
So that's it. We wait for the case to come up. My counsel shoots Scalloway down in flames, and I leave the court with my name cleared.
You do?
Of course I do.
All right, I believe you, but will anybody else?
Well, why the hell shouldn't they?
Because you're a womanizer, Joe. I can never quite trust you. Perhaps if I could, you wouldn't be worth having.
I don't know whether that's a compliment or not.
Well, it is in a way. But it's the reason you're not going to have your name cleared.
Listen, this lawyer's a great QC, Kilburney says. He's an unbelieving so-and-so, too.
Well, you know what they say, a good lawyer will get you off anything.
Are you sure you believe me?
I've been married to you for 16 years. I know when you're lying. Only I have to live with it.
Don't I?
Well, not in the same way. You spend most of your working time in London. You can say that again. I'm stuck here all the time.
Well, you'll have to live with it.
I sat next to Harriet Ebbetson in the hairdresser's this morning. Oh, God, she was sweet. She said she was sorry for me.
So what?
She's not a bit sorry. She's tickled pink we're in trouble.
Hey. You're not bothered about her, are you?
It's not just Harriet. Everybody in Moorwater will be talking by now.
Oh, people forget.
Yeah, but I have to live through it.
Oh, you haven't been sighted, have you?
Haven't you any imagination? Can't you put yourself in my shoes? I bet people are pitying me. Is that I can't stand?
Well, it's not much fun for me either.
Oh, you. Nobody's going to be sorry for you. You'll be a hell of a fella. Do you know, when I got back from the hairdressers, I didn't want to go out again.
Well, you're not going to run away from it.
Who's going to stop me?
I will.
Ah, Mr. Lambton. We don't often see you here. Mrs. Lambton?
Full house today, Vicar.
Oh, yes. Very gratifying. How are the children?
Oh, they're both very well, thank you.
Will we see you next Sunday?
I doubt it.
You're going away?
No. I've made my gesture to this God-fearing community.
Oh, I was hoping that...
Don't be embarrassed, Vicar.
You're always welcome in this church.
Oh, that's very charitable, Vicar.
No, I didn't mean it like that, Mr. Lambton. Let us not judge.
No. Let us not. Come along.
Lovely thing.
Oh, good.
Was that necessary?
Very.
You only make things worse for yourself.
Bothered, are you? Worried about what your church-going friends will say?
And that's uncalled for. It was your idea to come here.
That's right. Give them something to talk about over Sunday lunch.
Why do you hate them so much?
Hate them? I love self-righteous bloody hypocrites. You wouldn't be trying to avoid me, would you?
I promised Jackson a game.
Sit down or I'll break your bloody neck.
You might try keeping your voice down.
All right, then answer me this. How much did Marlcliffe pay you?
Marlcliffe?
I hear he got the job after all. How much did he pay you?
Couldn't we talk somewhere else?
I like it here. How much did he pay you?
You think I took money from both of you? You really believe I'd sink that low?
Yes.
I give you my word. I'd no idea that Marcliffe was going to be given the contract.
You know, I underestimated you. I never thought you were that good a liar. I just thought you were a small-time crook.
Sure, it was all sewn up. I couldn't make the chairman change his mind.
Give me one good reason for him turning against me.
Well, then if I can.
Cited as a correspondent, I don't know why. I lose a job that was a sure thing, and I don't know why.
These things happen.
Not to me, they don't know, without a good reason.
Anybody can be unlucky.
Starting with you. I'll have my 500 quid back. I'll even take a cheque. Who? Well, she must be mad. Look, tell her I'm not... No, don't do that. Look, just let her sit out there for a bit, will you?
Joe, I'm just off to Basingstoke.
That can wait. Do you know who's here?
The train goes in half an hour.
Well, take a later one. It's the bloody wife. Mrs. Audrey, adultery, Scalloway herself.
Well, I'm not an expert on divorce, but aren't you two supposed to keep apart?
You're right, but I didn't invite her.
Well, suppose she's been followed.
Well, then the damage is done. She's here.
Well, if you take my advice...
I don't want your advice. I want you to sit there and be a witness.
Get your solicitor, please, Joe.
I've had enough of solicitors and advice and what not to do. I want to see her. Send her in.
Taking a big risk.
Not for the first time. I want to see what she looks like in the flesh anyway.
I knew we shouldn't be meeting, but I felt I just had to see you.
I hope you don't mind.
And if I do?
I'd still have it on.
I wondered what you were like.
Well, now you know. Does your solicitor know you're here?
He'd have a fit.
So why are you here?
You know we've never met.
I've sworn half a dozen statements to that effect already.
And I've said the same to my lawyers.
Well, you'll have to say it in court again. Why are you here?
Keith, my husband, says he has evidence. I don't understand what he means.
What sort of evidence?
About you and me.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I know, but he seems very sure of himself.
Well, that's not the point. How could he have any evidence?
Well, that's what I was hoping you might tell me.
How did all this start, anyway? How did he know of me?
Well, there's this.
Oh, I remember. This is the Morda anniversary dinner. One of their directors was at my table. That's why I'm in the photo. But we didn't meet. At least it would have brightened my evening.
Well, maybe he just picked you at random.
Could have been anyone.
He must be bluffing. I don't see what real evidence he can have.
I wish I was so sure. If you've got enough money, you can always buy evidence or fake it.
Well, what can we do?
Tell our solicitors.
I was just hoping you might have an idea, a clue. The lawyers are driving me crazy with their questions. I think my solicitor doesn't really believe me.
I know that feeling.
I just hoped if we met that...
You want the divorce, don't you?
Oh, that's the crazy part of it. So does Keith. We both want to get married again. He's got evidence about me and my boyfriend. But your name gets dragged in as second correspondent. He doesn't need it.
Is he claiming damages against your man?
No, it'd be pointless. He hasn't got a bean. No, he's just asking token damages against him.
Oh, aye. He's claiming 5,000 quid's worth of token from me.
I know. It's mad.
I really think this has gone on long enough.
Oh, yes, yes, you're right. You didn't really need that, did you? Well, I'm very grateful to you both.
Well, don't be too grateful yet. We're still right in it. Up to our neck.
I expect I'll be seeing you.
Well, you'd better not lose this one.
One thing I'll remember. What a great help you've been.
You've seen her? Mr. Lambton, have you taken leave of your senses? Do you want to lose this case?
Well, you needn't take that attitude. I didn't invite her. She came to my office.
Well, you should have sent her away.
But my partner was there all the time. It was broad daylight, 11 o'clock in the morning, my office. What the hell do you think happened?
What exactly transpired?
She said her husband had some evidence about us. She wanted to know if I had a clue.
And have you?
We were at the same PR function, a year or so ago, but we weren't introduced.
You were at the same social gathering. Can you prove that you didn't meet? Well, Mr. Lambton, can you?
No.
Oh, well, at least they won't throw that at me in court now.
But what about this other evidence he's talking about?
I don't like the sound of that.
But he can't have any evidence.
Excuse me, Mr. Lambton. He already has the simulacrum of evidence. May I remind you once more what is at stake? At least £14,000, Mr. Lambton.
You want me to admit to something I haven't done?
Oh, as to that, Mr. Lambton, the reality of any act depends on a court of law as to whether it can be proved or not proved.
So you still don't believe me when I tell you I had nothing to do with the woman?
Oh, that has nothing to do with me, really, Mr. Lambton. Whether it happened or didn't happen, it's all in the past. All I'm interested in the present and the future.
Well, I'm not a bloody coconut shy. I'm fighting the case.
Oh, very well, then, if that's your final word.
I've said so.
It's still not too late, Mr. Lambton.
It's much too late.
I'm afraid he's not coming.
Hello, what are you doing here?
Keith sends his regrets.
He said he'd be here at 11.
Sit down, man. I'll buy you a drink and lecture you on our peculiar divorce law.
He promised.
He told me he was meeting you here today. I said it was out of the question.
You said?
My dear Audrey, you and Keith are in the middle of a rather sordid divorce case. Supposing somebody saw you. You can't keep on meeting, you know. I'd hate to think of you getting into any more trouble. Vodka and tonic, please, twice. I said to Keith, I'll find out what Audrey wants. I'll go. That way everybody's safe. What do you want to see him about anyway?
Joe Lambton.
What about him?
Why does he cite him?
You know perfectly well, Audrey.
No, I do not.
Because he's your lover.
Toby, it's complete nonsense. Keith knows who the real man is. What has Lambton to do with it?
Keith says he has all the facts.
I don't even know him, for heaven's sake. Well, tell me, just tell me, where and when am I supposed to have slept with him?
You've seen this, I take it?
100 people in evening dress. What's that supposed to prove?
That's Lambton, marked with an X.
4 tables apart.
Maude's anniversary, a year ago. That's where you met him.
Toby, it's absolutely lunatic.
I'm afraid to coin a phrase, you'll have to tell that to the judge.
Lambton told me that...
Lambton? What do you mean, Lambton? You seen Lambton?
It's all right. Only in his office.
You went to see Lambton?
To find out if he had a clue. He's as baffled as I am.
Audrey, you're a fool. You're a bloody silly fool.
He's all perfectly correct and formal. His partner was there and...
Audrey, you don't know what kind of a man Lambton is. He's poisonous. I'd rather trust a rattlesnake.
Toby, I had no idea you knew him.
Well, we're not friends, of course, but I've heard about him. Here and there. Now, you take my advice. You keep away from him.
Will you tell my husband he's mad?
I'm afraid he just won't listen.
And is this all the evidence he's got? Well, Keith hinted there was something more.
There is.
What do you mean?
There's plenty more.
There can't be.
I'm afraid he says he has all the evidence he needs.
Toby, help me.
I would. But don't worry, dear. You're not going to be the one who gets it in the neck.
What's going to happen?
I think Mr. Joe Lambton's going to be a very sorry man. Very sorry indeed.
I don't care what you say, Mummy. I believe Joe.
Does your credit, Sue?
You know, I'd have given anything in the world for this not to have happened.
Well, so would Joe, I dare say.
Well, perhaps he brought it on himself.
Oh, sometimes you talk tripe.
Honestly, Mummy, you're as bad as Joe's lawyer. He won't believe him either.
Well, lawyers know what they're about.
Do they, hell? And what do you know about the law, anyway?
Well, you know what I mean.
Well, if I had my way, they wouldn't get a penny if they lost a case. Then you'd see how many lawsuits we'd have.
As usual, you're taking Joe's side.
I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm just against lawyers, on principle.
Oh, I hope Joe's got good ones.
Oh, his QC's all right, as they go.
How do you know?
I've asked around.
It's a very unlikely story. I mean, somebody's husband just picking Joe out of the blue. Well, really, it's rather far-fetched, I think.
Nobody's asked you to think.
Really, Abe?
It's Joe. They came down this afternoon.
What for?
Joe.
All right.
Hello, Abe. I've had a bloody day. Sit down, lad. Relax.
Case comes up tomorrow.
Why don't you two fix Joe something in kitchen?
It's all ready.
Well, make sure it's not burning, then. Yeah, they get in your hair sometimes. You look whacked, boy.
I saw the solicitor last thing.
I could see something was bothering you.
I'm still not sure which side he's on.
Oh, his own, Joe. Take it from me.
You know the last thing he said? He said not to worry about the judge. I said, why not to worry? He said he's the biggest bastard in the divorce division, but not to worry.
Oh, judges, they're only lawyers who are smarter.
Why did you come down, Abe?
Oh, I had 1 or 2 men to see, and Mother was missing RCU. Put your feet up, lad.
I may be bankrupt this time tomorrow.
And on the other hand, you may not. Don't cross bridges. Get to 'em first.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of money in it. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you. 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 I'll Yes, Mr. Fitzhugh.
My lord, regarding the second correspondent, I am instructed that the allegations against him are withdrawn.
Unreservedly?
Of course, my lord.
You've left this very late, Mr. Fitzhugh.
My lord, those instructing me express their regret for inconveniencing your lordship.
And what do you have to say, Mr. Charlton?
My client has, of course, maintained his complete innocence of these matters throughout.
Quite so.
Furthermore, my lord, my client has been put to considerable inconvenience, cost, and some embarrassment by these entirely unfounded allegations.
Well, Mr. Fitzhugh?
My lord, no one regrets this more than I, and those who instruct me. The petitioner joins me in those sentiments.
That's all very well, Mr. Fitzhugh, but how did it happen?
May I say, my lord, that I am entirely at one with my learned friend in recognizing the inconvenience this must have caused the gentleman. And your lordship will, of course, make an order as to costs. I am sure your lordship appreciates how honest mistakes can be made in these complicated matters.
Mr. Charlton?
I take my learned friend's point, but of course I ask for my client to be discharged from this petition and to receive his full costs.
Very well. Discharged from the petition with full costs against the petitioner.
As your lordship pleases.
His lordship was very kind.
So what happens now?
It's over, Mr. Lambton.
What do you mean it's all over? That bloody pantomime in there took 5 minutes.
But a very satisfactory conclusion from your point of view.
You are completely exonerated.
Exonerated my foot.
The other side withdrew its allegations against you.
Just like that.
And you leave the court without a stain on your character.
I've been accused of committing adultery, of having an affair with somebody I've never met. I've been dragged into somebody else's divorce. I've been fighting bankruptcy. And 5 minutes later, it's all over.
Counsel for the other side admitted there had been a mistake.
Some bloody mistake. You know, if I had to be a correspondent, I could do worse.
I never heard that, Mr. Lambton.
Well, I think we can congratulate ourselves.
You can congratulate yourselves all you like. I've got some questions I want some answers to. What about my costs? Your fees? And his nibs refreshers are 400 guineas a day. Some bloody refreshers.
Oh, you'll get all costs. The other side has to pay them for needlessly inconveniencing you.
I like that, inconvenienced. You mean I can bloody well drag anybody into court, say they slept with my wife, demand damages, and then say, oops, sorry, I made a mistake.
It happens, Mr. Lambton. It just happened to you.
Without a bloody shred of evidence.
Oh, they honestly admitted their mistake.
Did you say honestly? What's bloody honest about it?
In the words of the judge, Mr. Lambton is dismissed from this action with costs.
Thank you very much.
Of course, your father-in-law was of considerable assistance to us.
Say that again.
Well, the information he provided helped us to put certain pressures on the other side, behind the scenes, so to speak.
Oh, it did it?
It certainly ensured they'd drop the whole thing like a hot brick. Which they did.
Just what the hell is your part in all this, eh?
Oh, nothing very much, lad. Don't get all worked up.
You're an old man, but one day I may break your bloody neck.
I just happen to have a few contacts in city. Keith Scalloway is the nephew of Sir Hugh Bernidale and his heir. If you're playing around with a nephew's wife, the uncle isn't going to give you a contract, is he?
Christ.
And the man who profits is the chap who lost the contract to you, a fellow called Marcliffe. Yes, I think you know him. Well, Scalloway and Marcliffe are old pals. The marriage was breaking up any road, and if an extra correspondent would help...
Oh, kick his bloody teeth in.
Will you? Well, you get your chance any minute. I've asked him to join us.
Well, what the hell for?
So you can kick his teeth in. Lambton style.
Ah, Joe. Long time no see.
I think you know Mr. Brown.
Indeed, by repute. I got your message.
Aye. We have a mutual acquaintance, Sir Hugh Bernidale.
Sit down.
Congratulations. Costs and all. I read in the paper. Delighted.
You haven't done too badly either, have you?
Surviving.
Like that £15,000 contract you got from us.
That's the way it goes.
I could sue you, you know. Say for 15,000.
For what?
Conspiracy, defamation, what you will.
You have no evidence.
I didn't stop you. On the other hand, why sue? The lawyers will only get most of the money anyway. I think we can do without lawyers.
Especially as I'm having dinner with Sir Hugh this evening. Why, Sir Hugh?
You bastards.
I wouldn't even bore Sir Hugh with the story.
Let's settle it out of court, so to speak. 15,000 you made, haven't you?
You're rotten.
I'll take a check. Now.